Rocketman isn't just another life story. It's one hell of a rockin' musical. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 behind-the-scenes facts about Rocketman.
People don't pay to see Reg White. They pay to see Elton John.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're shedding some light on the production of this 2019 film based on the life of Elton John. If you haven't seen the movie yet, this may help set your expectations before heading to the theater.
Can you even play the piano in those? Let him know who you are.
Number 10. It is not a biopic. This is a message, albeit a bizarre one, that the cast and crew have continuously mentioned in interviews. Rocketman is not a biopic. It is a, quote, musical fantasy. Then what does Elton John's life have to do with it? According to Taron Edgerton, who plays the famed musician, the songs and musical numbers are being used to represent important moments in John's life. Given how most conventional biopics dance in and out of historical accuracy, keep this in mind when you're walking into the theater. It may help you see how the songs correlate with Elton's past experiences.
Because of the nature of who Elton is, the storytelling allowed us to totally indulge in the fantasy and imagination.
Number 9. The film uses artistic license. As we said before, many biopics or biopic-styled films bend the truth to make themselves more interesting. They call this artistic license, and Rocketman certainly uses it. Fans initially raised concerns when a trailer seemingly showed Elton at a concert that never actually happened. The concert in question seems to be his American debut at the Troubadour. While his first US show did happen at this venue, the musician did not perform Crocodile Rock, contrary to what's shown in the trailer and the film. But since Elton John gave Dexter Fletcher permission to use artistic license, the director was able to do what he thought was necessary to capture the, quote, magical fantasy that tells the story of Elton's life. Number 8. The sexuality controversy. In April 2019, Taron Edgerton's casting came under fire.
Well, if I do, will you give me a kiss? I've always wanted to kiss a princess.
Because the actor is heterosexual, some fans and critics began to state that they weren't comfortable with a straight man playing a gay musician, despite Elton being fully supportive throughout production. Shortly after the backlash arose, Edgerton responded that his sexuality should not dictate what roles he can and cannot play. Quote, "I did not get into acting to just play people like me." He also elaborated, quote, "You have to draw the line somewhere. And I don't want to live in a world where straight people play straight people and gay people play gay people." Elton John himself also put in his 2 cents, calling the criticism, quote, "bullshit." Number 7. Director Dexter Fletcher was also behind Bohemian Rhapsody. Dexter Fletcher has been making quite a name for himself in the late 2010s. While he only began directing Bohemian Rhapsody late into its production following Bryan Singer's removal, you can't deny he had a huge hand in making it a blockbuster success.
Well, that's the kind of song teenagers can crank up the volume in their car and bang their heads to.
This is part of the reason that Rocketman's release is so exciting. The man knows how to translate a musician's work onto the big screen. When it comes to other notable names involved with the movie, it's worth mentioning that Jamie Bell and Richard Madden have supporting roles as Bernie Taupin and John Reed, respectively. Bryce Dallas Howard also plays Elton's mother. Needless to say, it is a top-notch cast. Number 6. Taron Edgerton has several connections to Elton John. Call it a pure coincidence, but Edgerton has had several ties to Elton John throughout his filmography. In 2017, Edgerton starred in Kingsman: The Golden Circle, in which Elton made a cameo. For the 2016 animated film Sing, Edgerton voiced a gorilla named Johnny, who sings a cover of Elton John's I'm Still Standing.
Jody.
Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did, looking like a true survivor.
Jody.
Oh, and we can't forget about Edgerton's audition for the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, where he performed a tune called Your Song by, you guessed it, Mr. Elton John himself. Considering his musical experience and his previous movie appearance with the legend, Edgerton had a huge advantage in nabbing this role. We suppose you could say Edgerton was destined to play Elton John.
Now, go off and save the world.
Number 5. Elton's Advice to Taron. Despite Rocketman being kickstarted by Elton John, the famed singer had very little involvement with the project once it took off. Fletcher and the crew did consult him for a few things, but it was more as a courtesy.
You serious about wanting to be a rock and roller?
Yeah. John was fully supportive throughout Rocketman's production, especially around a nervous Taron Edgerton.
Elton's songs are defining moments in people's lives, and the songs should all come from a place of character.
The actor felt a heavy amount of pressure when he took on the role, but fortunately received some words of advice. John encouraged Edgerton to portray himself the way Edgerton saw him, reportedly saying, quote, "Don't think you have to sing it exactly the way I sang it. I think it's a challenge for the actor to embody the spirit and not get into thinking they have to do an impersonation." Wise words, Elton. Wise words.
Elton said, "I don't think I've ever heard anyone sing my songs better than Taron."
Number 4. How they got Taron to look like Elton. To say a lot of work went into Taron looking like Elton would be an understatement. Countless hours went into not just makeup and costumes, but also recordings at the famous Abbey Road studios, as well as complex dance routines for choreography. When speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, Edgerton estimated he spent, quote, "somewhere between 50 and 100 hours of fittings." For every day of shooting, Edgerton had to have half of his hair kept shaved, in addition to painting his teeth to replicate John's tooth gap.
I had my hairline shaved up 2.5 inches to play the role and my hair thinned out. So, I mean, there's not a great deal you can do to...
You are not playing Kim Jong-un, we should mention. You're playing Elton John in Rocketman, the original Rocketman.
That's right, yeah.
That's pretty great.
From the looks of it, all that effort paid off. In the same article, John said he thought he was looking at himself. Number 3. Elton won't be singing. It'd be easy for Fletcher and the crew to just insert John's vocals or previous recordings into the movie and call it a day. However, they went above and beyond with Rocketman. Rather than taking the easy way out, it was decided that Edgerton would provide his own vocals for the soundtrack. Singing the songs of a musical legend gave Edgerton some intense stage fright, especially when Elton was actually on set. Fortunately, that didn't happen too often.
I mean, he's worked double hard. He's done the singing and he's done the acting.
But we're sure that getting his singing prowess commended by Elton John himself must have been quite the confidence boost, as was recording a duet with him called "I'm Gonna Love Me Again." Number 2. It bounced between studios. Who wouldn't jump at the chance to make a movie about Elton John? Well, several studios wouldn't, actually. Rocketman was originally going to be distributed by Universal, but the studio stalled the project for many years. Producer Matthew Vaughn said Universal chairman Donna Langley said to him, quote, "You definitely want to make it an R-rated film, and you're going to make it for over $35 million? When Vaughn said yes, she replied, "Good luck." Rocketman ultimately found a home with Paramount Pictures, but reports claim the studio pressured Fletcher to make it less sexual, most likely due to the fact that gay scenes are banned in China. Number 1. Tom Hardy was cast originally. Surprised? Yeah, so are we. Back in 2013, Tom Hardy had signed on to play Elton John, but it wasn't long before Hardy was dropped from the project for various reasons. For starters, Hardy was much older than John was in his early years. This could have been overlooked had it not been for Hardy's singing talents, or rather lack thereof. The original plan for Rocketman's music was to have John's vocals dubbed over Hardy while the actor lip-synced, which would make things more complicated and likely more expensive. Even before Hardy signed on, Elton expressed interest in casting singer and actor Justin Timberlake. However, we'd say they got the best man for the job. The multi-talented Taron Edgerton, of course. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.